Hello and welcome back to this episode of Treble Talk. Crazy stories in the football world today. So we're going to be doing a quick show where we're going to be talking about Barcelona and their chances of qualifying in the Champions League. We're also going to be talking about the El Clasico and Real Madrid's continued dominance in La Liga and also in Europe. And we're going to wrap it up with Ten Hag and how I feel about Ten Hag's time at Manchester United so far, and also the Cristiano Ronaldo saga. Is he leaving in January or is he staying? So we're going to kick up the show right away. Eve, to tell me, obviously, it wasn't a good result for the El Clasico, and also Champions League is looking a little shaky for Barcelona. So what are your thoughts on what's going on?
First of all, hey boys, glad you're doing well. Yeah, a little shaky is to say the least. Let's put it that way. Things are not going well for Barcelona. Been a tough Clasico. We lost a key injuries during the FIFA virus that really affected us. Clearly, Barcelona wasn't ready on the defensive side. So, what are the chances of Barcelona qualifying? Well, they're really slim. I knew it from the get-go because the group was tough. Everybody kept saying that it was easy group. Bayern Munich is not a team to be trifled with in Champions League. They're showing time and time again that they know how to play on a European front. In their own league, they're coming back. They're not second. I mean, they were never dead. It's just, they took time to get their rhythm. To be without Lewandowski, it takes time. So if you look at Inter Milan is not doing so well in their league, but that doesn't mean they don't know how to play in Champions League, right? So they want to absolutely qualify. They beat us in the first game, whether luck or not. We can't say it. They were the better team. Simple as that. So Barcelona coming off of a loss of Real Madrid, then winning again, then now getting some of our defenders back, and we're playing Bayern Munich in 15 minutes. And I just saw that Inter Milan won 4-0. So meaning that if we are to hypothetically beat Bayern Munich, we have to score goals, not just win by 1-0. If we are to qualify, we have to beat the next team by a couple of goals and not just win 1-0. And on top of that, we have to pray to God that Inter Milan actually loses in the next game. So it's not really in our favors. I would say most likely we're going to be in Europa, which makes more sense. It would also give the team the ability to regroup as a team. And maybe Champions League is money-wise, but if we end up going further in Europa, that may build more confidence for this team to come back next year and do better. I think if we put pressure on Champions League all the time, we might crumble a lot quicker than everybody expects. I don't think we'll even make it to the next round because the pressure is just too high. And I've said it since the beginning. I think Xavi's a great coach, but he's very junior, doesn't have that experience. So building that experience up is necessary. And you can see during Clasico, he made some key mistakes that every fan saw, but apparently he didn't. And every fan has been calling to do exactly what he did versus Atletico Bilbao, which is put four midfielders in. It makes more sense. Put a left winger where Pedri's natural position is in. And we did well. Granted, Bilbao is not a good team. No offense to all the Bilbao fans. They're not a good shape. So it wasn't a surprise we won. It was more of a surprise, but we won how much, how quick, which means there is a team there. There clearly is a team. It's just, it needs time. And that FIFA virus hit us hard. So massive props to Jeff. He deserves it. Real Madrid is still the king. Can't say anything. I said it since the beginning. I think we will end up second in La Liga. I think we will be knocked up by 16th group. Now we're not even making a group. I think we will come back stronger next year, but this team needs a full year to play together. And I think Lewandowski is scoring goals, but the guy needs time. He just changed club. I mean, he's banging goals, but give him time. He's not going to do it in one day. So, yeah, let's see how it goes. Lots of things to do, but chances are slim. I look forward to seeing the game and crying a lot tonight. Hopefully, Jeff won't text me. I definitely don't want to hear about Jeff for the next couple of weeks if we don't make it. And
I might be
so yeah, let's see.
Hey, man, the doors are open to the
Jeff
Europa League, I'll be welcoming you to the Europa League.
Hey, as an Arsenal fan, I can also speak about Europa. It's not all bad. Thursday games are as good as Tuesday, Wednesday games, right?
I'll say a last thing. Unlike Manchester United, and no offense to Manchester United fans, we don't really categorize ourselves as a lower tier team. So yeah, being in Europa is kind of a below the belt.
Well, Eve, man, this is second time in the making. Just a couple of
Ooh,
years, I
yellow
said the
card.
same thing. But
Yeah, I might take a yellow for that. I
once
might take
that
a yellow.
Europa soundtrack, you start
What
bopping
is
to
the
it.
Europa
I
soundtrack?
don't even know what it sounds like. I don't even know what it sounds like.
I don't know, man. You might start getting used to it very
It sounds like
soon.
a knockoff version of the champion.
I don't
Yeah,
think there's any
exactly.
lyrics to it, to be honest.
That's how bad
But
it
yeah,
is.
it
There's
gives
no
you a little bit
lyrics.
of goosebumps, depending on. Yeah,
Anyways,
it gives you some
yeah,
Depending
we'll
on
see
butterflies.
how
with
thirsty
Barcelona.
you are, right? How thirsty you are for titles. And Eves, I'm not gonna blow up your phone, though. I'm not gonna blow up the chat because you were quiet yesterday, all throughout the worst showing Real Madrid has ever put out since the last time they lost in May. This and the thing that gets me is I know we'd qualified already. We didn't need a W. A tie, a draw would have been acceptable. But at the same time, if I felt like everybody was concerned about all the injuries that have been happening to players just ahead of this World Cup, and they knew we're less than 30 days away, people started playing a little bit fearful. Vinny wasn't as dynamic as he was. He was sharp, but he wasn't as dynamic. He was coming back, but he wasn't putting himself into the tackle. It could be that he was free. He was giving him that role of you are our most advanced forward. But it was a problematic showing. But I don't even think the problem was Vinny. I don't think the problem was necessarily the lineup because that lineup could have been able to beat a team as strong as and an informer as RB Leipzig. But we were missing our engine, our pacemaker. We were missing the guy who is the least understood, the enigma, if you will, for our opponents in this year. The one and only, as Cruz put it, the top 3 players in the world currently, Fede Valverde. I have not seen this guy in a sharper form than the last few weeks, and he's grown in spades the way that Vinny had grown last year, and continues to show that ability to be. Benzema isn't there. You can get a goal from Vinny or a crucial assist. You may not win because doing that for 90 minutes is without Benzema, without that central pivot point to draw that extra center back away makes the game much more difficult for Vinicius Jr. So, I think it was one of those showings for everybody to see. I remember Josh last year or a couple years ago, you were trying to you're trying to take over Mino Raiola's role to shop Paul Pogba over to Real Madrid. And I remember myself and Kels, your brother, we kept on telling you, have you seen Fede? Do you even know who Valverde is? And I'm excited for the World Cup. He is a guy that is going to show up. He can bring you goals. He's got the engine, his defensive capabilities. It's almost like he is grasped the opportunity to learn from the best 3 midfield players of our generation in one team, and he's taking it. And I hope Camavinga takes it because I was disappointed with what I was seeing from him. I don't know if it's a lack of playing time or what, but that was disappointing. And I'm only talking about this game that we lost because the Clasico was the Clasico, right? We're gonna talk about penalties or not. It was a pen. I don't care what you say. It killed the game. The game was dead. Barcelona doesn't have that Real Madrid DNA of if you don't kill them, they're gonna come back. But I will say I was disappointed by Lewandowski's game play in that game as a fan of Lewandowski. But let's not take anything away from Eder Militao. He made sure that Lewandowski had his toughest first Clasico ever. But we are still the Kings. I'm going to ride that as long as I can. We're going to see what we're going to see what's going to happen with the World Cup and what it's going to do to us. It really came to the foray for me in yesterday's game. So you know what, Eves, man. I know we haven't talked about the greatest striker currently in form right now. No, not Lewandowski. Obviously, the king of the golden ball, Kareem. And I want you to follow that up, with some comparisons here and how Lewandowski has come to show his capabilities, but when the big game comes, he fell away. What say you there? How do you interpret the
Yeah.
outcome of
So
his showing?
no, it's. I mean, you made some good points. Like I said before with Real Madrid, there is no denying it that their DNA is intact. They're getting older for sure, and you're seeing some of the main players getting older for sure. You can't deny it. That age is going to affect them sooner or later. But right now, they're intact, and age is a number right now. It's just what it is. And Ancelotti has managed to perfect this team. Like I said before, a lot of people think that when you build a team, you always have to buy the best players, and the best players all of a sudden get you the most goals and etc. You look at Manchester City, you look at Paris Saint-Germain. Buying the best players doesn't mean anything.
Nope.
No offense to Jeff, but Real Madrid was not the best team put together. They became the best team together, and now they are the best players. But when it started, it was a mix of players that you kind of were like, Kroos, okay, he's good, all right, but not that good. Okay,
Whoa.
Modric, definitely good, but not that
Whoa.
good. And then you look
No,
at
I
Hazard.
can agree with you on that.
like looking back to when they first came to Madrid,
Look-
they were
look
top
at- look
players.
back.
They
Like
were
Modric
top
at
players
Tottenham.
with great talent
But same with
and potential.
Gareth Bale. Same with Gareth Bale, but
Yeah.
they had to still prove it at that
No,
level
for
at Real
sure.
Madrid,
100% agree
you
that
have to look
which
at
they
it.
have.
You're seeing it as a top player. I agree with you. They were top players of their teams for sure, but they were in lower teams. Can't deny it. Modric came from
come
Spurs.
on,
Like,
man.
no,
can't-
Jeff. I think you're
Modric
using
was not from a lower
hindsight
league.
biases. You're using
Modric
hindsight
was not from no, for sure I agree, but let's break it down. Modric was not from a lower league, right?
It's not from a lower league, but it
was.
was a lower team. So
Casemiro was originally at Real Madrid and playing as a cam. We loaned him out. He was young, and he came back as a holding mid, as a CDM. Yes, they came into their shoes as legends over time, for sure. You're not born a legend. You become a legend.
And that's
for sure.
that's my point. You're misunderstanding what I'm saying. So I want to clarify my point. And again, I'm not saying they weren't great players. They were great players. But when you come to Madrid, and it's always been the case, there's an expectation that you're bringing a legend on. And it was that time where Real Madrid wasn't going after legends.
You can use Coutinho,
right?
As an example.
It was the end of the Galacticos era. We weren't going after
exactly.
Galacticos anymore.
Exactly. And you go a step further. I mean, how many players came in and failed? I mean, the list is endless as well, right? Bale came in, was a golfer. Hazard came in, spent more time at the house.
No,
Bale
didn't
didn't
fail.
fail.
Did not
Come
fail.
on, Bale
did
succeeded,
not.
and then he went on to finish his career the way he wanted to.
No,
I don't think
Bale
I would have
failed.
finished my career that way.
Overall,
but it's like saying no, but it was like saying Ronaldo failed as a football player.
It's like saying Ronaldinho failed as a football player. Agreed.
Yeah, because he had his good spell where he dominated, but yes, he fell off.
Yeah,
which I think there was injuries and things. But okay, let's.
Yeah, but Ronaldinho. let me finish. I know you guys are getting trifled with, but let me finish before it's like Ronaldinho gave us.
He's trying to go watch his Barcelona beat Bayern. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm on the clock here. So let me clarify again. Ronaldinho gave us his best years, right? And he was the best player on his team, hands down. Paris Saint-Germain back then, he was the best player. We bought him, and the expectation was that he's going to take us to the next level. We weren't sure, etc. And he knocked it out of the park. Would I have called him a legend at Paris Saint-Germain? No way. Would I have called Modric a legend at Spurs? For a Spurs fan, yeah, I'm sure. They were pissed he's left. They were probably considering him a legend. But at Real Madrid, I for sure did not think he was going to be a golden ball winner. I thought he was going to be good at his role, for sure.
100%
yeah.
on that one. Yeah,
Bale came in. I was expecting Bale to win Ballon d'Or. I was expecting Bale to win so many trophies. He failed in my eyes because he was the best player in Spurs. You can't take it away. Overall package,
I don't think he was ever sorry. That part about the Ballon d'Or with Bale, I don't think that was fair because that was the era of Ronaldo and Messi. And it didn't matter what he did.
Modric won it.
It didn't matter what he did. Well, Modric was
Modric
okay.
won
That
it.
was,
But Modric
that was the
won it
1
doing
year.
some ridiculous
But yeah, that
things
was the 1
that
year. It was just
Ronaldo could not do, right? Like
I
hold on,
again, Bale
hold on.
wasn't even in the top
Bale
five.
was more.
but Croatia too, right?
Bale
Like
was more
what
similar
Modric
to
for Croatia
Ronaldo
was
in
huge.
terms of position, in terms of ability, and in terms of what they bring to a team. Modric was on a completely different plane of the football pitch, right? And so it was easier to separate that, what he was doing and the successes Real Madrid had, from Ronaldo and Messi than it was to do it with Bale. And I'm not saying, that doesn't take anything away from Bale, and it doesn't give anything more to Modric. I agree with you. Modric was not a legend when he came to Madrid, and I didn't think he would ever be a Golden Ball winner. But at the same
Correct.
time, same thing. I would say the same thing with Karim Benzema, right? I would say the
Oh yeah,
exact same thing with
that's
him. I
what my
would say
point is.
even
But
right.
that's what my point is. That's what my point is. My point
Yeah.
was these guys came in. I did not think they would be Ballon d'Or winners. I
No.
expected Hazard and Bale to be Golden Ball winners, probably the most contenders because they came in as a high pace. So I was like, yeah, Hazard, if he actually knocks it out of the park, he continues the way he's at Chelsea. Boy, this guy's unstoppable. Yeah,
I'll
clearly
never
that didn't
forget that
happen.
PSG game that ended his career, man. Ugh.
Yeah, and it's just sad, but it is a truth, and that's what I'm saying with big clubs. Big clubs know that sometimes it doesn't take the best to win. It takes a good player to turn him into a gem, and Madrid did
Mm.
that. Karim Benzema was, I mean, I love the guy in a sporting aspect, in a personal aspect. I think he had made too many wrong decisions for him to call him a great, but in a sporting perspective, amazing player. He deserves his title. He deserves where he came from. To come back from what he came from, the whole mess, all this stuff that he came through. He watched Ronaldo for year on year and supplied him with goals and taught from the best and so forth. No wonder he won the Golden Ball. But that takes dedication. That takes to become and want to become a legend. And that's what Madrid did. When he was at Lyon, he was the top player at Lyon. Logical solution. He goes to a club to see if he can. How long did it take him to get here? A long time. Why? Because he was in the shadow of Ronaldo that was in a dynasty of being the best. So what I'm saying with Madrid is that they're doing
Yeah,
a
just like
fantastic job
But
Iniesta was in the
definitely,
getting
shadow of
Bale was
Messi.
in that shadow as well, the
exactly,
BBC, right? Same with the MSN.
exactly. It
Suarez
takes
and
a
Neymar
long
were in the
time.
shadow of Messi.
Exactly. It takes a long time to accept to build a club, and Madrid did that. Paris Saint-Germain is not doing that. Manchester City is not accepting that. They buy the best and expect the best immediately. It takes time for these guys to become the best. And the reason Madrid is on top is because these guys are still hungry. They're not going away. Not only do they have the experience, they have the mentality and they're hungry. That's lethal. And they have a coach. You add that fifth aspect. That's a lethal combination to still dominate. They lost the Champions League game. Probably they weren't having their best night. Big deal. They're still qualified. Doesn't matter. Karim Benzema won the Ballon d'Or. That guy's still going to be hungry. And not only did he win the Ballon d'Or, Vinicius Jr. saw him win the Ballon d'Or. So now he's going to be like, shit, I want that too. So
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Real Madrid did not bring in the best during that time, and they became the best. If I look at the best player now, hands down, what Jeff was saying is Valverde and obviously Karim Benzema. But if I look at the age-wise, Valverde is miles ahead. I look at him in awe. I'm like, dude, it's the best player I've seen yet. Uruguayan player, hands down, best midfield player I am currently watching right now, hands down.
So before
My
Josh
2 cents,
touches,
guys.
before no, hey, your 2 cents is accepted, man. I'll send you your receipt. Before Josh touches on Cristiano Ronaldo, I just want to call out real quickly because the team sheets were just shown on the television for Bayern versus Barca, and you had said earlier something about Pedri in his best position as a left wing. That's interesting. He's done that again, but Sergio Busquets starting again. What do you think? Do you think it's actually still 4-3-3, or do you think it's more of a 4-2-3-1, 4-2-3-1, kind of like a 4-5-1 with Lewandowski?
I think he's repeating exactly what he did because we won
Against
last game, and
Athletic?
the problem is,
Oof.
yeah, I think
Wait,
Bayern
so
are too smart.
Busquets played the last game? I thought he didn't.
No, it was Gavi, but I think Gavi's has a little bit more of a serious problem that they're willing to say. I think that
Oh,
this
he got an
last knock
injury, eh?
was a little bit more serious. Yeah, I don't think he's injured, but I think there is something of light bruising that might prevent him from being the best. And maybe they're thinking
Ooh,
bring him on and defend first. I don't know how it is, but if you look at the tactics, it smells exactly like the previous game. The problem is Bayern is not stupid. They
Bayern
probably
is
watched
not
that game
athletic.
very well.
Oof.
So
yeah.
it doesn't look good on us on paper. Let's be honest. So let's, like I
Yeah,
said, it's
well,
starting now, and
this
it's going
is
to be
gonna be
interesting.
tough. So okay, well said, well said. I'm interested in watching this game. I'm sure the fans are as well. But we will be remiss if we didn't talk about the gentleman that has been on our lips all throughout this whole Ballon d'Or talk, the infamous, the former phenom Cristiano Ronaldo, who for me, maybe biased as a Real Madrid fan, is the GOAT. Josh, take it away, please.
Yeah, definitely. I think he still holds the title as the GOAT. Between him and Messi. We can probably debate that till and for an entire lifetime that we've got.
Till PSG runs out of money.
Yeah, until PSG runs out of money. Which I don't know. Eve, there's a lot of rumors now that it looks like Barcelona might be tempted to flirt with Messi again. So I don't know how true those rumors are, but
Well,
you never know.
let's
I
be
think
honest. If we want
you
Messi
guys need
back,
some help. You guys need some help,
I've said it
or
since
I
the
don't
beginning.
know. You guys need some help, or
If we
Messi
want
might be
Messi,
singing. Messi might be singing the Europa League anthem with Cristiano Ronaldo.
Hey.
if
If
that
Ronaldo, if
if
Ronaldo
that's
has
the
to do
case,
it,
we'll still beat your
Messi
ass in
should
the
as
Europa.
well.
Listen,
If Ronaldo has to
Yeah,
do it,
my
but
two
Messi should
cents
as
on
well. Don't take that to heart, Eves. He's just mad as a he's wearing a Juve jersey, but we all know where his colors lie.
yeah.
I'm not taking it hard, specifically from Europa fans. I mean, he's going to be there for a very long time, so I can't say anything. But I will say my two cents on Messi. Um, I said it since the beginning. Even when he left, I was like, I'm more than happy to have Messi back, but I don't want an astronomical salary. That can't be done. So if he comes back, he knows the game. Like he has to get in line. He has to understand his age, and he has to be able to help the club for goodwill, not for cash. If it's cash, please stay at Paris Saint-Germain because you get more money there. But if it's really genuine and he wants to come back because his kids want to come back, his wife wants to come back, and he wants to help the club, then yeah, obviously come back. We would love to have him. I'm sure Gavi and Pedri would learn more 5 minutes with him than they learn with Busquets. Let's be honest. So yeah, I would be more than happy to have him back. But will he even want to take that challenge? It's going to be a steep, let's say, burden on him and his family because then it flips back to Messi and Lewandowski. So we'll see. But right now, I don't really care. I think he's going to stay at Paris Saint Germain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And going to what Eve had said too, I think Messi should kind of look at what happened with Ronaldo, the return. These returns to your former club, they just never really work out. They never really work out the way we expect them to. So I think obviously, like I said, I will always give my flowers to Ronaldo, but it's unfortunate that he's behaving in such a manner. And I think I already said it at the beginning of the season that I didn't think Ronaldo was going to fit into Ten Hag's system. I know people keep talking about the pressing. It's just off the ball. Ronaldo doesn't really offer you much off the ball, which Ten Hag's football is really about what you do on the ball and obviously what you do off the ball in terms of positioning and things like that. I know people keep reminding everybody that he was our top goal scorer. I do get that. By the end of the day, football is about what have you done for me lately, and we use that same statement for every other player. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know if he's going to leave in January. The question is, who's going to take Ronaldo? And going back to Eve's point about Messi, he's got to realize he's 38 years old, turning 39, and that time is gone. I'm happy to keep him as a squad player. Rotation. We have a lot of injuries on our team, especially to our front line. I think he can still play a vital role. It's just would his ego get the best of him? That's my only issue with Ronaldo. And also, in terms of, I'm happy with how Ten Hag is really handling this because other coaches or other legends of our club would have probably had a different treatment of Ronaldo. and would have probably seen him week in, week out, playing. Because even last season, he started almost every game, and there were a lot of games that he really didn't do much. A lot of those goals that he scored them in a 10-game period, right? When you really break down the goals that he scored like 2 hat tricks in the season. That's pretty much half the goals that he scored. So, not taking that away from him, but we also have to look at the bigger picture. Is he adding to the team? I don't know. So, but the one thing I would say is there were a lot of players. I'm wearing his shirt right now, that if he had done half of what Ronaldo is pulling right now, he would have been burnt. He would have been put to the stake and burnt. So I think, yes, he's a GOAT, but at the end of the day, no player is bigger than the club. And we've said that about ex-players, and Ronaldo is not any different. He's not bigger than the club.
I would
If
say,
he feels that he... Sorry, go ahead.
Especially at Barcelona.
Josh. Yeah, that's a good point. I'll say one thing about Cristiano Ronaldo and his return. The problem is he returned to the club too late. If he had done 1 year in Madrid and it didn't work out and he wanted to come back to Manchester United, I think that would have been an easier transition. That's what Messi. If Messi comes back to Barcelona, it's only been a year in a sense, right? Maybe a second year at tops. So it's easier transition. I don't think you lose that feel. And he was already old and getting older in Barcelona. So there won't be that much of a learning curve. The problem is he spent so many years in Real Madrid, and then he went to Juventus, and then he went back to Manchester United. That's too much of a steep curve to change 3 clubs in like 4 years, right? So it's Ronaldo, it kind of hit him hard, and I think he still thinks he's maybe 27, but unfortunately, like Messi said, in his last interview, if he wishes he was 25 again and playing at that level, but I don't think Cristiano Ronaldo accepts his age and accepts his role. Like, his role is no longer what it was. I think Real Madrid managed him very well, specifically Zidane, when they were like, you can't play every game. We're going to have to manage you. And I think in Manchester United, because they were hurting, he thought he would come back as a hero's welcome and just dominate every single game. And he's having a tough time adjusting. And I think it's not easy for the GOAT in your eyes to accept that kind of thing. In his eyes, he thinks he's the best, and that's it.
What a lot of people keep forgetting, though, is that when they're comparing this Messi, Ronaldo changing teams, come on, Farmers League, come on, let's be very honest.
Yeah.
EPL as well, like 10. How many coaches has Manchester changed in the last 5 years? 3?
Oh, geez. 4 in the last 5.
In the last,
it's gotta be, because 2017 was when
4 in the last 10, I think it is.
4 in the last
6.
yeah.
So Ronaldo came back to a team that didn't have a form, did not have a way of playing, didn't have a set form, if you will, and also in arguably the toughest league in the world when it comes to high level soccer, right? So it was never going to be an apples to apples comparison between Messi and Ronaldo, and how they're faring in other leagues. I mean, Ronaldo, after Real Madrid, he was killing it in Italy with Juve. They won again, right? Like, let's be very honest, right? Like, it's just that the problem is now he has a coach who is not going to use him. You know what I'm saying? He has a coach who is not going to it's not about managing like what Zidane did or Ancelotti did. It's about not utilizing him at all, right? In other words, I have other alternatives, and you are now going to be you're going to be in the Rolodex, if you will. I don't care what's in your contract. So, we just have to take that into consideration as to how they're both performing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And Ronaldo's attitude, for me, which is the point you were trying to get to, Josh, I think is not acceptable, but it is fair. Do you see what I'm saying? As everyone says, oh boy, you should, it's all about the team and all this. I'm like, okay, but like he has a contract. When Ten Hag came, he knew what Ronaldo was to the club, right? So either you come up with a plan, and everybody says, oh, but when he's not playing, they do well. He's playing. That's because the players, there's no form. The players aren't going to play the same way and then just change the striker. It's not like what Barca does. It's not like what Real Madrid does. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, United hasn't had a form in about a decade. So he's not coming into a team that behind him they know what they're doing. Look at the defense.
Exactly.
People are trying to talk about how Ronaldo is a stat when he's not there. You know the stat? Mendy in 75 plus games in La Liga, there's no player that has a better scoring rate, has a better game winning ratio than Mendy. But Mendy has made some pretty bad mistakes, right?
Yeah.
And nobody's gonna say, "Oh, Mendy, you're the reason why Real Madrid is doing well." Right. So I think we get caught up in the media's interpretation of how people is that an L? Ooh, sorry,
Oh
that's
man, I
an
just saw that.
unfortunate reality.
Just
Sorry,
saw Mendy's,
sports
man.
fans. I think we're slowly losing ease.
Yeah.
1-0 Bayern in the Camp Nou. But I digress. Apples to apples. Let's appreciate what Ronaldo's going.
And I totally agree with that.
Acceptable.
I just, before we wrap, I totally agree with that. Like, we gotta respect him. But I think what I'm trying to say, I think he put this on himself, because I think when Ten Hag came in, not saying Ten Hag was Ten Hag's choice, but his contract was 2 years. He had one more season. I think any coach that has looked up to Ronaldo, seeing his career, would have given him a chance. The problem was he didn't show up to preseason, which was very crucial for this team, because new coach, the team has been in disarray for so long.
Very true.
Fans are fed up with the situation. This was Ten Hag coming in was the final straw for the fan, the club, the owners, everything. Then for you to start pulling that stunt of you want to leave, and you're not sure. It's one thing if you want to leave, that's fine. I get it. You want to leave, that's fine. But to not show up for preseason, you still got to show up. Like, you know what I mean? Like I understand you're Cristiano Ronaldo, but you're not going to walk into any team not fit.
Agreed.
Right?
You got to show up.
Especially at his age, in a faster league, Ten Hag's football is going to be a lot faster. Yeah. So also, I think
you had a bad year,
and now he's trying to get out of it, but it's kind of late now. You know what I mean? It's kind of late because the other players that are replacing him are doing just as well. Yes, our forward line needs help. Our forward line is still not firing like we want to see them firing. Like, we're playing well, but we're not scoring the goals that we should be scoring. Yeah. So, but then we've brought in Ronaldo, and it hasn't really made that impact. So that's where it leaves fans like myself caught between the rock and a hard place, where it's saying, I do get the sentiment of Ronaldo, but it's not like he's coming in and scoring goals, and we're clearly seeing that we need a Ronaldo on that team. So this is where the dilemma is, I think, with the Ronaldo situation. But the last thing I wanted to kind of if he was to leave and he decides that, one of my suggestions was, if Ronaldo was going to leave, right, and wants to play for a Champions League team, he's made enough money in his life that he can say, you know what, pay me on bonuses. If I score X amount of goals, I start X amount of games, pay me X, Y, Z. Most teams would rather do that because they're getting a return versus saying, oh, I want 400 bags a week. That's and X, Y, Z and all that stuff. That becomes a harder deal, right, to agree upon. Because a lot of teams will want Ronaldo. It's just at what cost, right? So if he was humble and, money aside, because he only has how many more years left, he can still make enough money from those bonuses. Sorry?
This might be his last top-level contract.
Yeah, at this rate. And this is on him. It's not. I don't think it's anybody else but on him. So. But the last thing I think you're
being a little bit unfair on Cristiano Ronaldo. It's definitely not going to be his last big contract. I think if people are willing to pay
top-level contract,
a lot of money. Yeah, I think if people are willing to spend, there's no strikers right now. Let's be honest. All the top strikers are very expensive, and they're all taken.
Then why did nobody take him last year in the summer?
I think his number was way too high. I think if he drops it down to a normal striker level, most likely, someone will pay his. I wouldn't be surprised Chelsea goes after him. I wouldn't be surprised he goes to Napoli. I wouldn't be surprised that another club like
Napoli would be a top level contract.
Contract wise,
well, yes, they're making Champions League though, so that's really why.
So yeah,
in 2022, top level is you're playing Champions League football. Like from a Ronaldo
that's
standpoint.
just the bottom line. It's not going to
At
be
the
top
end of the
club, but it's
day.
going to be top achievement. So yeah, I think for his age,
Well,
if
it's
he ends
top
up going to
level.
a
They're
club that's in
playing.
Champions League and pays up,
Yeah, they compete in the top four in Italy, which you've talked about. Is the league is becoming the standards are rising again.
Yeah, I don't think he's
You
going to
know, they're
Napoli,
playing in
guys.
Champions League, so it's.
The,
I don't think
of the
it's a
teams
bad
that
deal.
could take him, none of them will. Right? Come on, it's very real.
Yeah.
Inter
are we
is probably the
actually
only
taking
team
away?
that I can see taking him. AC Milan,
I wouldn't be surprised.
maybe.
Paris Saint-Germain.
Nah, PSG is not going to get him if they have those three there.
If this Mbappe continues forever, sooner or later, Paris Saint-Germain will be forced to do something. If this feud between Mbappe and Neymar keep going forever, that
PSG's
will
problem
have to
is
be dealt with.
not PSG's problem is not Mbappe and Neymar. PSG's problem is behind Neymar. It's the midfield. That's the problem.
For sure.
If they fix that, Neymar and Mbappe will be fine, just like Ronaldo and Bale were fine. They weren't best friends, they weren't buddies, but they were fine. They were professional. They handled their business. They won. Ronaldo's not going to stay in the EPL next year. Guaranteed.
No, that's for sure.
Guaranteed.
That's for sure. Yeah, unless Chelsea.
So then the only place he can go, I think, is Inter and AC. He's not going to La Liga, right? Because he's not going to come back to La Liga. He's not coming to Real Madrid or Barca because he knows those are the only two teams that will ever. He's not going to Atleti. Atleti's not going to deal with him. He's not going to go to Germany because then it's just Bayern. He's not going to go to Dortmund. You see what I'm saying? Like the places he could go, he won't go, even if he lowered his number. That's what I'm trying to say. This is it for him. If he goes, he's going to Italy. He's going to Italy, and it's not going to be Napoli because Napoli doesn't want to mess up that good stuff that they're doing over there. And if I was AC Milan, I would say, "Yo, Ibra, you're off. We're going to pick up a new dinosaur who can because at least Ronaldo's knees are still there, and Leandro Leao would benefit from having him there." That's
AC
the only
Milan,
place I can see him to be very real leagues. Where
I
can you
watched
see
that documentary as
Where else
well.
can you see Ronaldo? Because it seems like I'm the only one.
I honestly think see him is 3-4 clubs. I think AC Milan, Paris Saint-Germain, Napoli, and as a last resort, if they're willing to pay for him, Chelsea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, Chelsea just because the owner loves Ronaldo.
Yeah,
because that was the whole saga.
Yeah,
in the summer,
he loves
right?
the brand.
So,
he loves the brand.
And exactly.
He's just an American guy who loves
Ronaldo.
the brand.
I think what's basically why I still feel like we were talking about why Ronaldo still has a future somewhere is the brand. Because you'll make that money back. Suing everywhere, everyone will be suing in parking lots and all that stuff. It would just elevate your brand. Just like how if you have Mourinho as a coach especially for certain teams, it just elevates your brand, right? So I think that's what's going to happen with Ronaldo, but I think he's also going to have a major role to play in that, in terms of attitude, in terms of financially, what he's willing to walk away with, right? I think that's going to be the last thing I want to just quickly say was I'm happy with our team. I guess it's the first time in so long that I feel confident to turn on the TV. I'm looking forward to seeing United play, and I gotta say, Casemiro, he's been a revelation, man. Like this kid, wow. I know people were had the audacity.
You hearing this? You hearing this EPL kid talk about how Casemiro's a revelation?
Now they're appreciating talent. First of all, he's not a kid.
But I always appreciated him. Like I've never been the one. And even the first few games, he was coming on for 5 minutes, and a lot of United fans had the audacity to be talking about McTominay starting over Casemiro because McTominay's doing well, and that my blood was boiling hearing that stuff because it goes back to the same issues we have as United fans. Is we're so fickle, like we complain that we need new players in. The new players come in, they give them a 10-minute cameo because they don't light it up. All of a sudden, they're not good enough for the EPL. They're not good enough for Manchester United. So I was very disappointed to hear a lot of fans say that. And now those same fans that, if you listen to like the Rio 5 channel, the likes of what's his name, the guy from Arsenal, saying that McTominay's doing a lot better, so McTominay should be
Henry?
starting. Yeah, Joe Bea and what's his name, Steven Housen. They were arguing with Rio and what's the other guy's name? Forget the other guy that was on the panel at the time. They were arguing with two ex-professional players as to why McTominay should be starting over Casemiro because the 5-minute cameos he got. And for me, it really pissed me off because this is the same treatment that Donny van de Beek got.
Yep.
Donny would come on for 2 minutes and they expected him to pull trees in 2 minutes. And then when he doesn't, it's, oh, he's not good enough. And I just didn't want the same vicious cycle to keep happening to our players, where a new player comes in, that we've seen that player do so well in other clubs, and all of a sudden they're not good enough for United. So I'm really happy to see Casemiro come into his own. I think he's even doing more of a midfield, like creative role right now than the likes of Bruno Fernandes and Eriksen. So I'm happy that we have Casemiro in. Our backline is looking a lot more composed. But I think we still need that CM or Cam that can still control and dictate games.
You have the Cam. You have your Cam. His name is Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, I said that can dictate and control games. Yeah. So that's my spiel. But yeah, I think I'm happy with the way things are going with United. I had one last question. I don't know before we wrap up or if somebody else has something.
Well,
Jeff,
let me say on Casemiro before we go move on to your question. What EPL fans, and specifically Manchester United fans, seem to not understand is he needed to be brought in at the right time. He was changing club, changing pace in terms of the technicality because he was always at a high pace. He's 29 years old. His best years were at Real Madrid. He could offer you a couple of good years, but what I'm saying is you guys had a gem and lucky to have this transfer. And the fact that he hasn't played, it takes time. Now, him over McTominay, let's not joke here. McTominay is nowhere near that level. So that's not even a question. For anyone to debate that needs to seriously consider watching football again. Because if you look at Casemiro, you look what he's done. It's just undeniable. Plus the team has been on. And you're asking McTominay, a younger guy, to start over a veteran? No way. No chance in heck. So trust the system, trust Tag, trust what's going to happen, and Manchester United will be fine.
Half the problem of these arguments coming from EPL fans and watchers and dedicated
channels,
is that they don't watch La Liga. They've only seen Casemiro in Champions League, and really in Champions League quarters and maybe in finals and semis, maybe quarters. That's the problem. So they don't know the quality he brings. They don't know that this guy's been pulling trees before even McTominay knew how to wipe his diapers. Didn't need diapers anymore. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, this whole issue boils down to you just don't know the player. It's like me coming out and talking about Musiala. I can't be out there and be like, oh, Musiala is not a top kid. He's not a wonder kid. He's not on the level with Foden and Bellingham. But Bayern fans can make that argument. I can't.
Yeah.
It's like talking about Osimhen. I've only seen him in Champions League, and really only when I hear that I should watch Napoli highlights. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the issue, is that you can't talk about people you don't watch. And so when the whole Pogba when the whole Fede Valverde arguments were being made by Real Madrid fans, and everybody was like, "Oh, Madrid has an old midfield; they're done. This and this and that." And it's like, when you sleep on people only because you're so tunnel visioned, you're going to get a rude awakening, and you're going to end up making stupid arguments, and that's what's been happening.
You know what? And I'll put my hand up and say I was one of those saying that Real Madrid, they're old, but I started watching them that last season, the season before the one they won before last season. Mm-hmm. And I started watching them and I said, okay, you know what? And that really changed. And that's how I won the pool for the Champions League, right? I predicted.
Was that the Chelsea? That was the Chelsea when Chelsea won the Champions League, right?
That season, that's when I started watching them again.
That was Rising Hands last year, yeah.
Yeah, and then but based on watching them that season in the Champions League, I had enough knowledge to say, okay, they've added a few more players, or some of those younger players are now coming into their own, that I was confident enough to say in October of last year that Real Madrid was going to win, was going to be Liverpool and Real Madrid in the finals, and Real Madrid was going to win. Because, like you said, I had that bias self. I haven't seen Real Madrid in a while. You know, they were not doing so well at the time. COVID, all those things happened, right? So that impacted how Real Madrid was playing. So I definitely do agree with that. And yeah, it's unfortunate sometimes where people are really short-sighted, right? And I think the one thing I wanted to say too, I think with United fans, because we've been so desperate and hungry for success for so long, we're impatient. We want to see results right away. And I do understand that. And I think a player like Bruno Fernandes, I think he changed the way we saw new players, because he came in, hit the ground running. He was FPL player of the year. He was just people were comparing him to Eric Cantona. Like, he was just doing things that people don't do in their first season at a new club. It's very What he did was impressive, and I'll always commend him for that. But I think we kind of set the bar so high, and we thought that everybody that came in after him has to be that guy. And now we see United fans are giving Sancho such a hard time, because Sancho is not Anthony that is going through 10 different players at the same time, right? And I think we lose the essence of the game. We lose what that player is actually giving to the team, like what Sancho gives to the team, what a player like Donny has given to the team. People overlook it because they're not scoring, because they're not assisting, because they're not running to, they're breaking so much sweat, right? Like, so I think sometimes it's like people need to take a step back and watch the game for the game, and not for stats, and not for just scoring goals. There's more to the game than just goals and stats. That's what I'm trying to say. My question to you, Jeff, as an Arsenal fan, your ex-coach has been announced as the official coach of Aston Villa, Unai Emery. Just a quick 1 minute. What's your take on that? What's your
Yo,
expectations of him? And then we
yo,
can
I'm,
officially wrap up.
I'm gonna be very honest. I didn't even know that Gerard had been fired, man. I did not know Gerard had been sacked. So this Unai Emery, you can tell I do not follow. Yeah, I mean, Villarreal is not gonna miss him. And let me put it this way. Sorry, has it been officially announced?
Yeah, I saw it
He
on
is
the
he is the next
FPL.
coach, not a rumor. He is the next
No,
coach.
he is the next coach. Yeah,
Okay,
he's
so he's the
supposed to.
current coach. Okay,
Yeah,
so
because I think his visa was supposed to be ready this Friday. Yeah, so
right, because his other visa expired when after what he did at Arsenal, right? Okay.
and the whole Brexit deal too, right?
Oh,
Now
right,
it's
right,
a bit
right, right.
different
That
too.
whole
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. So look at this guy, Mr. Politics here, knows everything now. Um the to be very honest, I think this just benefits this. I'm not even going to address Emery. Emery being Aston Villa, yeah, Aston Villa is just going to keep doing more of the same. Um, Now, I just want to talk on this because we haven't talked about Liverpool, and I know you're itching to talk about your arch rivals and how well, wink, wink, they're doing. You beat City in a great game on the weekend, and then you go and you lose to Nottingham Forest the following weekend. Are you absolutely kidding me right now? This stuff can't write itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole situation about Gerard, now that I know that he's been sacked, I'm like, yo, Liverpool fans, you may be having to throw away your posters and towels and whatever buttons of Klopp, because at this point, maybe Gerard might be your new coach in the summer. And I don't know how that makes Liverpool fans feel. I think unless they get a new guy like Bellingham, they're going to be in big trouble. And I think really we shouldn't, as a Manchester United fan, coaches is the least of your worries right now, be it in your own home or elsewhere.
Yeah.
Right now, you need to beat out Real Madrid and Liverpool to Jude Bellingham. That is where your that fixes your CM problem, and
Yeah.
that puts Bruno Fernandes on the chopping block for him to actually be always on his best game. Because if he goes
I
to
really
Liverpool,
don't want to see him go to Manchester United. No offense,
I
Josh.
hear you.
I really
But
don't want to go see him.
if he
I
goes to
think his
Liverpool, it's
talent
over.
deserves to go in a better club. No offense. Not because you're not a good club.
Whoa! So Eve, the
Liverpool.
stuff we're
Wait, hold
so
on.
what
Eve,
we're
you're saying
saying
Not
right
because you're
Liverpool.
not
now
a
about
club. No,
United, you
Josh,
don't see
not because you're not a
that
good
there's a
club. It's
future.
just you're not doing well. You're not doing well. And he's an immediate talent. He's not a weighted talent. He's an immediate talent. And I just don't think Manchester United is ready to host a player like that. That's all. It's not because you're a bad
Yeah,
team. It's
you're
just I
right.
think
I
you need
know
a
it's
year
only
or two
been
before you can plug and play.
yeah, you're right. And the reason I'm okay with that trade is because of the coach that we had. Like I said, if it was under Ole, I did not want any player coming to Manchester United. Like I don't know if you remember when I said that two
Yeah, I
summers
remember.
ago,
I remember you
where I
saying that.
kept saying there's no point. Like I'm not even interested in the transfer window. I always said our biggest transfer was getting Ole out of the club, and getting a proper coach. So I do agree with what you're saying. I think for me, I think Ten Hag is just showing me enough to have faith that if we continue in this trajectory, we have a higher ceiling than most people had anticipated at the beginning of the season. So that's why I'm kind of, whoever we're linked to right now. I know we're also linked to Gapo as a forward player. So whoever we're linked to, and I look at the players that Ten Hag has brought in, they've all hit the ground running. So I'm just that's how I'm basing this whole trade on, and I do understand, yes, that Jude Bellingham should be going to a team that's already set up, that's already ready to hit the ground running. But what team is that? He's not going to City. I don't think so. You think he might be going to Real Madrid?
No, I'm just
No,
saying team built
Bayern.
Bayern.
Oh, two, yeah,
I
to
don't think he's
Munich.
gonna
Then
go.
it just becomes a whole Germany. Yeah, him going to Munich. I think it will be a cop out. That's for me. I
Who?
don't like. To me,
I
if you're like, sorry,
Who would be a cop out to Bayern?
Jude Bellingham.
Oh, he's
If he
not
went
going
to
there.
Munich.
I
Exactly.
guarantee you, Jude
Any
Bellingham. Jude
top
Bellingham's either
player in the
coming
German league that
to La
decides to just
Liga
go to
or he's going
Munich,
to
to me,
UCL.
that's just you're taking the easy route.
Nah, he's not going there, man.
So
It's
other
not
than
even the easy
Munich,
route. Like they don't need him. Let's be very real.
yeah. So it's like, where else is he really gonna go, right?
I think it's
To
just there's only five. There's only four teams, maybe five, that are in this running. It's Real Madrid, right? It's Barcelona if they want him. I
well,
don't think
Barcelona is in
they.
the exact same
no, he's not.
predicament as United.
He's not
No, no,
tied.
no, no.
He's
So
not tied.
I'm
if we're
just saying
using
where he could go.
analogy of United,
Oh yeah,
then
because I
I think
definitely don't want him
Barcelona
either.
United are in basically the same similar situations. One
Nah,
is in La Liga, one is in the
nah,
EPL.
nah.
We're
I
talking
don't think
about
they're. I don't
Champions
think
League getting knocked
Barcelona
out in the group
and United
stage
are in the
and
same
playing
situation.
Europa League. What's the
United
difference?
has money. Don't compare yourself. Don't listen to
No, what
Eves
I mean
here.
by no, not the money part. I'm talking about the situation, like because Eve had explained that Jude Bellingham is not. He's way above the United level right now because
I
he
mean,
needs a
you're both
team
in
that is.
Europa, so I don't know. I don't know what the argument is there.
So that's what I'm saying. So Barcelona is also out of the equation with that regard.
Barcelona is only out of the equation for this year. They're not out of the equation for next summer because they're going to be in the top four. But
Yeah,
I honestly think, again, fine. Even if I said top five, right? I said the 4 for 5 teams. The 4 teams I think for sure are Real Madrid, right? The next one would be Liverpool. The next one would be United, and the last one is going to be Barcelona, and then Chelsea. Like that's it, right? Like if I don't see City wanting him or needing him, if City brought him in, they are going to be getting rid of a lot of players, right? It means that Mahrez's time is up. It means that Grealish is. You know what I'm saying? All these people that they have all these big contracts are going to be gone at that point.
I should get rid
um,
of Grealish. They really should.
But I honestly think Jude Bellingham, top 3 is Real Madrid, United, and Liverpool. The only person that can knock out Liverpool or United is Chelsea because they have the money
yeah,
and they have a need, right? He's literally walking into a starting lineup. He's walking into Champions League, what it looks like. He's walking into a coach who is not, who isn't bigger than life, right? Right? He doesn't have that situation. I'll give him that. Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, Real Madrid, they all have coaches where he would gel with them because they're not like a Mourinho or like someone who has attitude like a Tuchel or whatever. and he's walking into a starting lineup. I think Real Madrid, less of an argument that he's walking into a starting lineup unless Cruz does retire this year. But I think the main argument for me is that Liverpool is the best place. If Klopp is still here next year, Liverpool is the best place for him to go. I hate to say it, because I always want top talent, but I think our problems are not in the attack in midfield. I think our future triumvirate is Camavinga, Tchouaméni, and Fede Valverde. As Fede showed on the weekend, he can kill it in the midfield as well as he can kill it on the right wing. And I think ultimately for me, that's the future triumvirate, and a Jude Bellingham is maybe not needed right now, but I would hate for him to go to another competitor. Are you frozen, Josh, or are you just fully focused?
And Josh is fully frozen.
Okay, thank goodness, man. he looks like he is on.
Yeah,
he looks like
he needs to come
point.
back.
That's jokes. But yeah, that's my thing about Jude Bellingham. And I mean, would you say Jude Bellingham is the top talent right now? Like, there's no other person, obviously, other than Kylian Mbappe and Haaland. But Mbappe and Haaland for all arguments
in terms of the Copa teams.
Sorry?
In terms of the Copa youth, yeah, he's one of the top talents. Can't deny it. In terms of the Copa youth, yes. He is there with Xavi. He's there.
Transfers next season.
Yeah, he's there with. Yeah,
he is the top transfer right now for next summer. There's nobody else who is on
who openly wants to leave. Yes,
who openly and can leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name is going to be back on the. De Jong is going to be back.
I think he fits at Chelsea.
Well,
I think he fits at Chelsea better, but
I think he fits at Chelsea.
Or even I actually think
I hate to say
it. Chelsea and Liverpool, he fits perfectly with the squad. I don't think he fits with Manchester United. It's just not the DNA yet.
Yeah, but
what I would love for what to happen would be Mbappe goes to Liverpool because that's the only one that they have an opportunity, honestly, right now, as in January, which most likely won't happen. This is hypothetical, by the way. This is like the craziest transfers ever. Would be Mbappe to Liverpool, would be Jude to Chelsea, and then, I don't know, Cristiano Ronaldo to AC Milan. That would be the January's crazies, right?
Also, I'm hearing that De Jong talk is coming back up again.
Let me
I don't know if you still need him.
Not for January. I think De Jong is solidly in Xavi's plans going forward for at least until the next summer, especially with the World Cup in the middle. But I'll let me throw one other thing out there for you for January, Yves. Christopher Nkunku to Real Madrid.
You see, that's the problem. The PSG wants him too badly. And I see it already, the talks, that they're already bringing him back. I didn't know they had a clause. I had no clue of this.
I
didn't know they had a buyback clause.
He's definitely
so I was like,
and he's French as well, so makes
French, so for me it makes sense.
Yeah, but it's PSG. Where is he going to? I can see that in the summer.
He's from there.
In the summer, if Messi leaves.
Yeah, if Messi leaves, he's from there. He wants a revenge that he earned his spot. Mbappe would welcome another French player, and it would only further burden.
That he doesn't want to revenge.
Yeah, I think he does. I think he does.
Come on, man. Come on.
He's French.
Man.
He's French.
This guy can go. This guy can go to any top team. Why would he care about? He knows he can go to PSG whenever he wants.
Remember, what's a top team in the eyes of a youth French today? PSG.
Is it PSG?
But you also have to remember, he's
because they want to win their first Champions League.
He's not going to start.
I can see him going to England too, because he's what, Nigerian? Because he's like
Newcastle,
Nigerian French, right? So there's still that Nigerian British connection, which is a lot of Nigerians in.
Man, if Arsenal grabbed him though, I will be laughing all the way to the bank, man.
I don't know, man.
Real Madrid final, man.
I think he might just go to PSG over Arsenal. I don't know. I think Arsenal.
He definitely would go to PSG over Arsenal.
This season.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, I think Arsenal. Like I would say one more season, and I think Arsenal can go back to attracting the top talents again.
Arsenal is
because what you guys are doing is tremendous right now. Is good.
Arsenal is two top talents away, and I'm not saying top talent that everybody's looking at. I'm talking about like Odegaard, who went under the radar. Jesus, who went under the radar. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's his name? I can't forget his name is Martinelli, who went on the radar. Saka, who went on the radar. the defense. If we can fix our right back situation, right, and
Is that Ben White?
huh?
Is Ben White your right back, or
Yeah, man.
because now
Can you
he's
imagine
been
that?
tossed to the right?
Who? Yeah,
He's
he's
no
been
longer
tossed
the
to right back
CB
because
anymore.
well, Tomiyasu is kind of left back because
But
Tierney's
Tomiyasu, he's good. He's
Tierney's
solid, man.
glass, huh?
Yeah. He reminds me of Alonso from Chelsea. That's now at Barca.
Who, Tomiyasu?
Yeah. I think they kind of play the game the same way. Like the way they glide forward. I like players like that are able to go under the radar, and the way they just glide forward. That's one thing that I always said with Gabby Alonso is just, he didn't have the speed and the trickery and stuff, but he still got through players. Like he was always a threat when he played. But like I said, people are always looking for the high energy stuff all the time, right? Especially in the EPL. But
yeah, I mean, ultimately, let me wrap up these fictitious moves with by saying, before Real Madrid goes for anybody else, even Mbappe, we need a right back. And I don't see anybody. I only got eyes for Reece James. And that is one of the reasons why you will always hear me say, I hope Chelsea continues to fail. It's not anything against their players or the manager. Just fail long enough for James to say, I've had enough. Like this year, next year, and then come to Madrid, and then you guys, Chelsea, can go back to being gods of EPL if they want. I don't care. So that's all I'm going to say. A little bit selfishly. But other than him, I can't see any other right back that's really top level. Maybe this Simican guy who handled it. Who?
Trent?
He's not a right back. That's a lie. That's a lie, man. He's like Casemiro. Casemiro didn't start out as a CDM. He started out as a cam. That's the situation there. And I hope Klopp figures it out. If he doesn't learn how to play three in the back with a full-on winger where you have no defensive duties, he's got to put him in the midfield. And that may solve his midfield problem. The problem is that he has too many other midfield players that he are competing for midfield. Harvey Elliott, Jones, what are you going to do with them? He got this Caballo guy in. Like, I just don't understand what's going on over there. So big weekend of football coming up. And then we're less than 30 days away from FIFA World Cup finals. I'm looking forward to that. Josh, I don't know about you. I ordered my Team Canada jersey.
Oh geez, I am late to the party. I gotta do that ASAP.
You gotta get it, man. Yo, Eve, have you ordered your jerseys?
Coming in, so
I got my new jersey.
Half Denmark, half France jersey, or you just fully Denmark?
I ordered my jerseys. I got one that's Denmark. It's all black due to the Qatar, image. And then I ordered the other one that's a new French jersey that's white, which is actually quite nice. That jersey is basically
that's
really,
interesting.
really nice.
I didn't get the World Cup jersey because, like you say, the whole Qatar situation. I don't want that on my chest. I got the qualifying jersey, the one that's just Nike and Team Canada. I don't want no Qatar nonsense on my jersey.
I didn't even think about
they're not making money from me. I'll tell you that. Not like they need it.
About that. Well, Nigeria made it easy for me because I thought I was gonna have to. Well, Ghana ruined it, but I
haven't even bought my Ghana jersey yet.
Man, I thought I was gonna be purchasing 3.
I haven't bought my Ghana jersey yet, man. I'm waiting to see what it looks like because the jersey right now is kind of basic for me. I'm not really feeling it.
Oh, true. I was thinking because it's winter, I might just get like a sweater or something from one of the teams.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good idea. Yeah,
maybe Ghana can do like a nice sweater.
Oh, I like the way you think, man. I like the way you think.
Wow, red card. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways, guys, it's been great. Next time we should definitely talk about the World Cup. Lots of things happening in 25 days, less than 29 days. It's going to be interesting. Champions League going to be interesting. I'm definitely going to go hang myself. So wish you all a wonderful evening.
He doesn't mean that literally, man.
Yeah, not.
He's good. He may drink himself to sleep, but he's not hanging himself.
Disclaimer: this
probably play
podcast
FIFA
is not meant
try
for
and destroy
kids.
Bayern Munich.
Just kidding.
That's as far as it goes.
Hey, if you want to link up on FIFA, holla, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, FIFA.
Yeah.
And if anyone
Oh
who hasn't
yeah.
played Call of Duty, highly
You-
recommended.
You might. Oh, I gotta get COD. Yo, but penalty check for Lewandowski.
Anyways, I'm gonna leave you, gents. I'm gonna watch the game.
He's just want to
All
stick
right, guys. I
around.
gotta go
Catch you
to
later.
my broker.
Later,
Have a
boys.
good night, gentlemen.
Getting some
Peace.
calls. All right, you
Later,
guys
boys.
take care. Okay.